You've got 2 weeks to let this metamorphosis happen. And when January 1st shows up, January 4th, my birthday, you're going to be thinking about the first Monday of January of 2016. You're going to go, yeah! This is where we've gotten rid of those limiting beliefs. Now, like you said, not forever, not all of them, but I know the process. And I know that it's possible. So we have 1 left. Ooh, yes. Be accountable. The one people who want to walk out the door and don't want to be around for this one because we don't want to be accountable. And there's a huge distinction between those who are victims and not victims, those who have victim mentality. I'm not talking about people who have been the victims of a crime or something like that. I'm talking about people who choose to be in victim mentality. Poor me, life is horrible. So if we look at this graphic on this page, I'm going to read through it. There is a typo in this graphic, so let's see if we can find this, okay? We're going to start from the bottom. The victim status quo. Actually, we're going to jump. So we're going to go down there. Victim equals status quo. They want things to stay the same. They don't like things to shift. So if we go up to the top where life happens and reality shows up, that circle right at the top. On the left side, people who are in victim mentality don't seek reality. They're in ignorance. They ask no questions. It just is what it is. When life happens and reality shows up, they fight reality. They're in denial. They say, that's not the way it is. That's not how I see it. That's your perception. They blame. They start projecting their ideas on others. They say, if everybody would just do their job, it's not my fault, it's yours. The market is to blame. The economy is to blame. Why didn't you do something? I'm hoping that I'm not the only one who can identify with some of these thoughts. We've all had them at some point. They have personal excuses. They'll deflect. They'll say, nobody told me, it's not my job, I did my part, I was never given a chance, it doesn't work here, I did what I was supposed to do, it didn't work, I can't think of anything else to do. And then they wait and hope. They're resigned. They say, if it was meant to be, it will happen. Let's just wait and see. We've done all we could, let's just wait and see. Time will tell, it's out of my hands, the proof will be in the pudding. So those are the people who just wait for things to happen to them and then blame when they do. We probably know that. I mean, we've been there. On the other hand, the people who are accountable seek change. You can see on the bottom where it says accountable equals change. And when life happens and reality shows up, they seek reality. They actually want to shine the light on it. They want awareness. What is the situation? Let's assess. They acknowledge the reality. They want clarity. They say, this is the way it is. Got it. I'll see what's going on. This is really hard for me to read, so I know it's really small and it's kind of blurry. They own it. They take energy and focus and they say, if it is to be, then it's up to me. What do I want? I've got to do something. This is my responsibility. They also find solutions and seek possibilities. They say, what are my options? How can I get what I want? What can I do? And then they get on with it. They have an action plan. They say, let's get started. Time's up, let's go. This is what I will do. I was never given a chance? What? Cross that one out. Yeah. That was supposed to be, it is under personal excuses on the left side. I think it just got transposed. So cross that one out. They say, okay, let's do it. Let's get on with it. So you see the distinction between those who are accountable and those who are in the victim mentality. An accountable person knows that everything that happens is a result of their choices. So you see on page 87, it says, everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life. Now, I'm not saying that the bad things that have happened to you in your life are your fault. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying problems are in the past. No matter what those problems are. No matter if they're the result of your actions or not. No matter if something happened to you or not. I get it. We can live with that forever. If only, this was wrong, this was bad, yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay, got that. Well, what are we going to do now? What is the next step? As we live with the rear view mirror in our hands instead of the steering wheel, why are we surprised that that keeps showing up? So let's create possibility going forward. Jean Arendt is a mega agent in Austin. Here we go. Whew. And I was in Minneapolis. I was in Minneapolis last week, and there were a couple of mega agents in the Minneapolis class, and one of them said that he actually made a road trip to Texas and asked Gene Arant if he could shadow him. And Gene said sure.
Oh, wow.
So I'm telling you, this guy's the real deal.
People do that.
They do.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're in town for something, you can go look them up. Now, they may not be able to be available at the drop of a hat, so you might want to plan it. But I'm telling you, the people in this company are crazy cool. So here's Gene, about being accountable.
Hi, I'm Gene Arant, and I'm here to talk to you about accountability and what accountability means to me. You know, accountability in all reality is that it's the foundation of your day. And when I wake up in the morning, for me to go work out, if I don't have some kind of accountability, it doesn't happen. And so what do? I have a trainer. I pay him, therefore it forces me to show up and work out early in the morning. We have so much natural ability, and it's get us so far in life. But the reality is, without some structure and some accountability, that allows us to move past our natural tendencies. So for an example on accountability inside of our real estate team is our 411s, which is our accountability tool that Keller Williams has taught us to use with our team members. And so we find out what are their yearly goals, how can we break that into a monthly goal, and then how can we do that into 4 weeks, each week moving them towards that. And it's not just about business goals and financial goals, but it's personal goals. I find out what's important to them, they find out what's important to me, and together we grow the business. Accountability isn't always roses. Sometimes life steps in, and the cool thing about Keller Williams is we really focus on identifying that. We've got the tools to understand when you're heading off the road of accountability and blaming yourself, blaming others, because you're not going to get anywhere. And so that's where accountability steps in. And you can make the decision to step out of that, move forward, get back into the language that's going to move you forward, and use the tools that these perspectives give you. Having that and having a plan and focusing back on that is where accountability can totally make a difference, change your life, and quite frankly, change your family's life, your destiny, your legacy.
It's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? I'd like to try and find out. When we say try, there's no try. Gary Keller says TRY is the real you. TRY. We'll never know if we don't take a step in the direction of our dreams. So take it. See how it works. See how it works to be accountable for you. So being in victim mode means you are focusing on things that aren't working or that you don't want. And since we've been conditioned that way, I get it. We've all been conditioned to see first what we don't like and what we don't want. So, again, what do you want more? Who you've been being or who you're becoming? You get to decide. So, think of a problem or an issue in your life right now that you are struggling with. All of you, think of one problem or issue, a challenge in your life that you're struggling with. I'll give you a second or two to think of that. Does everybody have one? A problem, a challenge, an issue that you're struggling with. I'm going to assume that you all have one. Okay, ready? When I say go, I want you to walk around the room sharing this issue with others in the room. You have 1 minute to share your issue with others in this room. So how did it feel to complain?
Vomit?
To vomit. How did it feel?
I didn't get anything out of it.
No, you didn't get anything out of it.
And counterproductive.
Kind of counterproductive.
I don't like it.
Sometimes we need to puke things out. Sometimes we need to vent, right? I have a friend who calls that sport bitching. Bitching for the sport of it.
I like that.
Bitching for the sport of it. And how long does it take before you lose the interest of the person you're bitching to?
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Or less.
Unless we move into coaching. We moved into coaching pretty quickly. Because you kind of identified, you said, I'm not getting a payoff. There's a payoff to what you're doing. You're getting a payoff. There's a cost, certainly.
Right.
But the cost is not great enough to have you shift yet, apparently. And at some point, there will be the scales will tip, and you'll say, oh, it's costing me way more than it's paying me to do what I'm doing, to have the life I'm living. But right now, if you're still complaining about it and still happening, well then, the cost is not, the cost of doing it is too much for you right now. The payoff is greater. So you just get to decide. And how fun is it to be walking around telling people about all these issues you have? So, on page 89, you have the opportunity to become accountable. So you'll see, number one is seek reality. What is the issue? How does awareness of the issue lead to its resolution? Well, that's a pretty good question. How does awareness of the issue lead to its resolution? Well, if you don't even know what the issue is, it's pretty hard to resolve it. So at least when you puke it out, you know what it is. That's a good thing. Then acknowledge reality. How does having clarity about the issue lead to its resolution? Because you can have reasons or results, you can't have both, right? You can have all the reasons in the world that I haven't done this. This happened, and she said this, and he did this, and that. Great, got that. And how's that working for you? Well, it's not. I heard you say it's not working, Lisa. It's not working. So, that clarity. How does clarity lead to its resolution? How will you use energy and focus to resolve the issue? Those are questions for you. How will you use energy and focus? What are the possible solutions for the issue? It says here, find solutions. So if you don't know, there are solutions out there. We've already talked about how many people within KW would love to help you with this. If you're willing to be coached, if you're coachable and open to learning. Because if you just want to find other people who share your woe, you know what you're going to attract? What is that, garbage magnet? You're going to find that a lot of people agree with you. I live in North Dakota, Minnesota, on the border. We're really good at Minnesota nice. And that's when you talk really nice to people and then talk really bad about them.
It's called Minnesota.
Minnesota nice. We hate conflict. We will run in the other direction a million miles to avoid conflict. So when there's an issue, we'll go, I know he's such a jerk, isn't he? Let's go have a drink. We're not going to worry about that. Or we'll say, you know that Tina, she's such a nice, or no, I'll say to you, she's such a witch. I really hate, Tina. Oh, how are you?
Hey.
So good to see you. Where I've just talked about you to somebody else, but to your face, I'm going to be nice. And I don't think that's just a Minnesota thing.
I was going to say. It's a Lutheran thing.
It's a Lutheran thing. I'm Lutheran too! I'm also Lutheran. I know! So, right?
Lutheran, yeah.
So, misery has got to stop loving company. Because how is that working for us? We just can't figure out why we keep getting the same stuff. It may have a different face, but it's the same issue over and over. And what's the common denominator? Dang it! I hate that part. I'm the common denominator for all the problems I've had in my life. And until I'm willing to do something, what are the action steps you can take? It's going to keep showing up, you guys. Message, lesson, problem, crisis. Same information is there for us to become the grandest version of ourselves possible. And if we're not seeing the signs, they're going to continue to get stronger. So think about if you talked with one of your people in the room on 89, were there some action steps you can take? Go ahead and write down some action steps right there.
I don't think we got that far.
You didn't get that far?
Blame you.
So think for yourself. Might there be an action step I can take? Even if you didn't get an idea from your partner, what could you do to get beyond this problem that you were complaining about? Do you guys know in this room, except maybe for you, Lourdes, who Mo Anderson is?
Yes.
So Mo is kind of an icon in the world of Keller Williams, and she joined us several years ago to take over the people part of our business, because Gary Keller's a great businessman, not that great with people. So he started the organization and learned early on he had to fire himself as CEO if he wanted us to succeed, and he got Mo. Mo was, I don't even know how old she was when she started. She's probably 70.
In her 50s.
She was in her 50s when they found her 20 years ago or so. She's in her 70s now, late 70s.
Late, yeah.
And she has become the heart and soul of Keller Williams. And so she has what we call the people in her box. She has accountability to help her become the best person she can be. And so in 91, we learned that at Keller, we are deeply committed to accountability on all levels, whether you're a new agent or vice chairman of the board, as Mo Anderson is. She exemplifies accountability at the highest level because she has these people helping her be accountable. I don't prefer to say holding her accountable. It's really difficult for me to understand how someone else can hold me accountable. I teach personal accountability training at manufacturing, in my manufacturing life. And we teach QBQ, the question behind the question, personal accountability. And it's personal. I can't make you do something because otherwise I'm going to push it on you and you're going to resist. So I like to think of it more as helping me be accountable. Or maybe holding me able to do it. And holding space for you to be able to do it.
Great.
And it feels better to me. It feels lighter.
Yeah.
And so I like that term. You can use whatever works best for you. Mo has decided these are the 4 areas of her life she would like to have some support and help. And so for her it was financial, spiritual, physical, and business. And the thing that all those people have in common who are in those circles for her is they are coaches. She pays them to help her in these areas. And Mo has learned that in order to, as Jean was saying, I pay a trainer because then I'm more accountable. And for you, you can decide, is this something that's important enough to you that you hire somebody to help you? And on the next page, you have a chance to think, who are the people in your box? Do you have a financial, a spiritual, a physical, and a business partner in becoming the grandest version of you out there? And if those titles don't work for you, financial, spiritual, physical, and business, you can create ones that do. And another secret is it doesn't have to be 4 different people. Maybe you have one person helping you in all those areas. But consider for you, how would this help you achieve the goals you say you want to achieve for yourself? And if you don't have somebody in one of those boxes, by which date will you? Now,
Something I didn't expect today.
I'm wondering if it would be different for you if you hired somebody or if you ask somebody. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. What do you think? Do you have a coach?
Yes.
Do you have a paid coach? So you're paying her.
Yes.
So tell me how that's working.
It's great. I attribute a lot of the growth that I've had since I've gotten here to having coaching. You know, it's been.
She
Yeah.
paid him to say
No,
that.
it's been fantastic, and I think it's one of the pivotal things. I had to, the first year and a half of the business, I was on the team, and I paid money, a split to that person, and I don't think there was no value in that to me, and that's why I left. There are fees here for coaching, which is actually a lot less than what I was paying through that avenue, and I've gotten way more than that back for it. So
Does it feel like a cost or an investment?
an investment, yeah.
Is there a distinction for anything?
Oh, yeah.
Jody, can I also say, Dan's one of the most coachable people I've ever worked with in my life.
Wow. So that makes it fun for you too.
So, well,
The exercise we did a little earlier, that we've been doing today, we talked to our partners, is really helpful. One of the things that I find is too is the input's great, but also hearing yourself say something to somebody, like when we were talking about our limited beliefs. I hear myself saying what I'm saying, and then because you play when you have conflict or things that you're mulling over in your head or limiting beliefs, you play like you have this play going on in your head, and it could go for maybe it could last 15 minutes before you talk to somebody, or it could be 3 weeks before you get it out, and you kick it out of there, and all of a sudden when you hear yourself say it, you're like, okay, I was stressing over that because.
Yeah.
And like course of a transaction, there's things are going wrong, and then you have that period before you talk to the other side, and you got all these scenarios like it's blowing up fire, and there's the nuclear reactors overcoiling and stuff, and all of a sudden you get on the phone and it's like, oh hey, hi, And it's like,
You guys,
sort it out and
it's
yeah.
always worse in our heads.
Yeah.
The story
So-
we make up is
Yeah.
always worse.
And I do that in coaching all the time when I'm having issues, and I find a lot of times just sitting there and having someone for half an hour to talk to about it, and I get great feedback, but also just having that one person that I know that this is what I take these issues to, you know, when I'm having, you know, trying to sort out my business, you know, I can, you know, talk it out on Monday, and, you know, and then inevitably just by talking to somebody that I trust about it, and not only getting their feedback, but also being able to trust that person,
Yeah.
because you know their qualifications and it's good advice, and
For
you're,
sure.
you know, you're getting good feedback.
There's a book that Gary Keller talked about, Mark Willis talked about, called Spiritual Partnership, and it's on the list somewhere. And that's the difference, I think, in what you're describing between a friendship and a coaching relationship, which is more of a spiritual partnership, which says we're here together to help elevate both of us to a higher level of consciousness or whatever. Where friends will say, you know, we'll sit on the same side of the table and we'll say, let's look at the problem. And you'll tell me and I'll look and we'll both see it from that point of view and we'll go, I know, it's so horrible, let's go have a glass of wine. Because that's what we do as friends. That's support. But partnerships, spiritual partnerships, coaching is looking at things, the same thing from two different angles and being able to say things like, so what do you think caused that? Instead of commiserating, it's actually guiding.
Yeah, and you want somebody who's willing to give you the tough answers,
Right.
whereas, you know, just your best buddy or your spouse or, you know, you're not always gonna get that.
Right.
So-
They love you and they want you to not be,
Yeah.
not be uncomfortable.
So it is better to pay.
I didn't say it's better to pay, and I will tell you what you get, what you pay for. How about that?
Well, I just think
So-
that it just puts it on a different
It does.
plane.
It does. And if you're not ready for that leap, please do what it says on page 95, at least. Because, go ahead.
Is there a statistic as far as like in the top, I don't know, 20% of all Keller Williams agents, how many of them are coaching?
There is, and I don't know, Sue, like, I've been gone for a year and a half.
I'm guessing, I would guess it would be very high.
Oh, very high. You can look, and I think in MAPS they actually have a list. They have the list of the top 100, and then it'll have a little asterisk by it, how many of those have MAPS coaches. And if you look at that list, I know it comes out every year, you can see, interesting that a lot of them have asterisks after their names.
So is this group coaching or is
It
it
can be.
individual coaching?
It can be. There are a lot of different coaching opportunities within MAPS. And group coaching is great, depending on where you are in your, awareness. And you probably could speak to that more than I can, Sue. about-
Also, and we've really gotten big into the productivity coaching,
Great,
Jody, since
yeah.
you got in the TL role.
Right.
What the TL was always tasked with, that huge job, they've taken a piece out of that in the productivity coaching. And so not all market centers have a coach. Those of us who do, we're so supported. I mean, I have a coach to be a better coach.
Right.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And when you look at numbers being tracked across the country with coaching programs, whether it be market center based or MAPS based, the results speak for themselves.
And just so you know, I think, Lourdes, I'm going to assume you don't know this. MAPS is a separate division of Keller Williams that's all dedicated to coaching.
I'm sorry, I always
So,
forget.
I know.
like, the acronyms that we
Yeah.
talk in, it's like, oh my gosh.
I know, we
probably
do it a
sounds like
lot.
we're speaking
And I gotta
Japanese.
Google everything.
I know. So it stands for Mega Achievement
Mega Agent Productivity Systems,
Systems.
is that right?
So, yeah, it's a separate division that this company has just for coaching and training and development. Amazing.
Yeah.
And there are many different levels of coaching that you could get to be part of. You could have ongoing mastermind sessions on books like Fierce Conversations, which I took for 16 weeks, I think it was, with Debbie Frapp.
I did too, awesome.
Were you in that class with me? I think you were.
Yes, we were.
Because
And
we,
Dan was too.
oh, you were too?
Yeah.
Because it was like you and me and Kim.
We were talking.
the only ones who ever talked. I know.
Language
Andy
of
was
sales.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I wouldn't until I figured out that
I
it was
remember
on
how
mute.
I-
Oh. What's that? So there are lots of opportunities. And if nothing else, if you're not ready yet, this 95 is going to give you a script. For the person, if you guys decide you want to help each other, there's a great little script right here. And you treat this like a business call, just like you would if you were making a call to your sphere. This is a business call, this is not a personal call. So right now, what was your goal? Let's just touch base every Monday morning and see what was your goal. So you ask, what was your goal? How did you do? So how do you feel about that? And based on how you did, what is your goal and what do you need to do now? It's really simple. Yeah.
To speak to Tina's question,
Yeah.
I had beginning of this year, around this time, I set it up with a really good friend of mine. It's like a brother to me. He's a president of a title company in California. We've known each other for over 20 years, and he set up a thing where I was doing an accountability phone call with him. It lasted for about 5 or 6 months. It was great, but and there was no cost. It's just he'd call me. We talked for we say 15 minutes, but it usually ended up being about 30 or 40 minutes. And but then inevitably, because there was no, it wasn't a business relationship. When life got in the way, it got sidetracked really easily. So it was fantastic time, but inevitably the fact that life got in the way, there was no, you got sidetracked and kind of abandoned. So.
And because there's nothing exchanging money, I'm just going to say, because there's no cost to it, it does kind of go by the wayside. When you know you're investing cash in this process, it's weird. We all do that. We treat things more seriously when we're paying for them. We do. And so, that's why
Adds value.
it does add value.
Well, yeah, because if I didn't show up to my
Perceived value because you're paid for it.
if I'm missing this month, I'm missing 2 because I have commitments. I'm missing 2 coaching sessions, and I have to just basically write that off.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, okay, I got to get this back on, because I'm paying it.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna waste this time. I have these 4 sessions a month. And when it wasn't being paid, it was okay for me that, okay, if we don't reschedule it, I don't get to it, it kind of goes by the wayside. There was no investment on my part, and also on his part too. It's like, well, this is, it wasn't that it wasn't important, but it was easier to schedule it off.
Sure.
So.
Lisa, you were kind of saying that, weren't you, when you and I talked? And do you mind sharing what you said to me about your goal?
I just said, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I just let myself off the hook, and that's kind of what we were both doing, is so I'm not getting done the things that I should get done, and I've had some of the same things on my list for literally months, and
You said you're the nicest boss in the world.
and I'm the nicest boss I've ever had, so,
And
yeah.
I said I called myself lazy.
Yeah.
Not accountable.
Come on
Oh,
now.
lazy because you gave yourself some free time.
Right.
Well, even-
well, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, see, even Linda said the same thing, she said, we rationalize it
Right.
as
Yeah.
well. She rationalizes that, I need my sleep, so, I'm gonna go to bed. And I said, I felt like that this morning, I got up and I went, oh, maybe they're gonna cancel this class, and oh, I have this cold, and oh, I need to rest. So I should stay in bed and get my rest so that I can get better. So we rationalize it,
And those rationales are always very valid. It's not,
Well, it's-
I'm not
Totally.
making it up
Right.
like you did need probably to stay in bed to get your cold, but you made a better choice perhaps.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
trying.
back, we've been involved in kind of sports teams and stuff, and there's usually like in the preseason where you have that month of, you get Hell Week, or you get the Hell Week, or the 2-a-days, and really, like, how many of us would have showed up if there wasn't a coach that was gonna scream at us if we weren't getting.
You didn't have any accountability. Look at
Yeah,
Jody.
yeah.
She had accountability to all those of us in the market center to be here. She and I were on Facebook this morning at what, 5:30, 6 o'clock, trying to figure out because schools had just closed, she's across the street, but you guys all know how you have to go around to get here. It's not just
You guys put her up in that
flyover.
hotel down the street?
$39 a night.
I wasn't there.
So you were-
I
you
wasn't
were-
there.
We could have done better than that.
She was accountable to us to be here. So she and I went back and forth. I said, you know what, they might cancel. She said, well, I'm here, I'm ready. I mean, she was accountable to us. You guys were all accountable enough to yourselves and your own growth plan.
You didn't know me though. It wasn't really about me at the time.
It's teacher capital T.
Really?
The honor. I committed to learning today, and so I can't not show up for my teacher.
Well, and our,
See,
and our
that's
market
good though,
center
you had
did have.
accountability. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, you added accountability if only to your own growth plan.
Right.
That's why I put in the post that picture you sent, by the way, was so cute. When I put the picture, or the post of, you can both log in, you can have reasons or results, you can have both.
Yeah.
You guys chose results
Right.
today.
Right.
You were accountable to your own results. Very cool.
And I'm excited for
Sorry, I
what
just
you
went
will do. You know, who you be is attractive, is magnetic. And so who you will be in your families and also your market center will make a difference. It's not about anybody else, because remember, your reputation does not belong to you. It's not yours. Your character is. And your character is your responsibility. And the results will happen as a result of that. Taking care of your character. So this is really cool on 95, and it gives you a really neat little script to support each other in that process. When I took Bold for the first time, our instructor was talking to us about a section, I don't even remember which section of Bold. And I remember writing notes for this thing that she was telling us, and it was so profound to me. And it was the 7 levels of human energy. And I wrote my notes, and I went back the next week and read through my notes, and it just hit me so amazing. It's such a big deal. And so I'm going to share with you what I learned in Bold, and I'll write them on the board here, because to me this was so
So
monumental.
you can erase that spreadsheet.
Oh,
Just
wait,
please feel
wait.
free.
That's okay. I'm
I
gonna,
need to
can you
get
guys
that
see it?
picture.
Oh, how about up here? Can you both see here?
Yes.
Okay.
This was my homework today before I left. I had to get this picture.
So let me go here. So 7 levels of energy. And the story behind this is really interesting, because I saw this and I used it for a week, and I got it in my brain, and I thought it was so profound and it was so awesome. And I went back to the Bold coach the next week and I said, you know, I've learned a lot, but what you taught last week about the 7 levels of energy was so profound. And I had put it on Facebook that week and said, this is so great. And nobody in my class could remember her saying it, including the instructor. She had no idea where it came from. I heard it. I wrote it down. The other team leaders who were in the class said, I don't remember hearing that. So it went really fast over it. And then she was able to say, well, yeah, I suppose it was in this part. But for me, this was profound. So I just want to share with you, because I hope it has the same kind of effect. If you think about human energy, and energy is not something you can touch, but you can feel. And the lowest, we're talking about right now, the lowest level of energy is victim. Right? My life is horrible. Yuck. Blech. And the level above victim is anger. We might think anger is a bad thing. We don't like when people get upset and angry. But at least they're doing something. My life is horrible and I'm mad about it. The first time I ever met Mark Willis, he talked about how if we as leaders were noticing that people were angry around us, we had to look in the mirror and see where we were leading with fear. Because fear produces anger. And that was so profound to me. So anger is better than victim, at least, right? So the level above anger is responsibility. And that's what we're talking about right here in this section, responsibility. My life is horrible, I'm mad about it, and I guess if it's going to change, it's going to be up to me. That's where the energy is going to shift from heavy, dense energy to lighter, positive energy, right here. The 4th level above that is compassion. When you have compassion, you can see things differently. You can go, yeah, I used to be upset about that too. Now I see it differently because I've been there. That's a different energy level. Above compassion is peace. And we talked about that earlier when we said the difference between being attached and being committed is huge. When you're attached, you're not in peace because it has to be a certain way. When you can give that up and say whatever happens is exactly what needs to happen for me and for everybody involved, that's peace. Oh, that feels so great. Because it's hard to be responsible for the whole world. Oh my gosh, if they don't do it exactly that way, that's gonna make me crazy! And above peace, we're in this season right now. Joy to the world. We know joy. When you feel joy, if you don't feel joy, just go look at a little 3-year-old. That's such a high vibrational energy. And the top of the chain, number 7, is passion and gratitude. We just came off the season of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a great holiday. And it causes us to be thankful for X. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful that I got here today because the weather was bad. I'm thankful that I have a new car. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the food. Thanksgiving is different from gratitude. Gratitude is an attitude, and you don't have to have conditions for it. Gratitude is unconditional. That's the difference. When you see everything as part of a greater vision, and you have passion for everything, for life. You've heard people say, I'm high on life. That's that high vibrational energy that we can choose. Now, we're not there all the time, ever, for sure. We dip all the time. I just really want to help us in this room not take up residence in Pity City. You know, we can go there and visit. Poor me, my life is terrible. But let's not buy houses there. Let's not sell houses there. No. And so every morning when you wake up, you can choose. I put this on in all of our training rooms and in my office when I was a team leader. And I don't think people liked it all the time because I'd say, so where are you? What are you choosing today? If you know victim is a choice, are you going to choose it? You might dip, and we all dip. But are you going to stay there? I choose peace every day when I get up on purpose. And I like peace because if I dip 2, it's only to responsibility. And if I go up 2, I'm at passion, gratitude. So choose it and make that your set point. And even if you choose responsibility, that's an awesome place to start. Because that's where it shifts to positive. So I love this, and I seriously still don't know where it's from. I kind of think it might be from something related to Power versus Force, which is on your list, by David Hawkins, which is Mark Willis's one of his favorite books. And so it's kind of about that, energetic levels and stuff like that.
It's also in bold.
So
we just went through bold, and it's in the gratitude week of bold.
So what
We
is it
talked about
from?
7 levels of energy. I thought it was something that because Dinah talks about
Yeah.
on the video, she
Okay.
talks about your energy and how everything is energy.
Yes.
The table is energy,
Great.
yada yada, right?
Great.
And it's in that session
Great.
that this comes out.
So I'm not making this up.
So I don't know if it's Diana's. I'm guessing it's probably stuff that she got from here, here,
Sure.
here, here, here,
Sure.
like everything else in bold that she's compiled.
Great, awesome. So let's not even question it. Let's just assume that Diana, the goddess of the world, has created this. I mean, this is great stuff, and I love it. I love to find resources and sources as much as I can. So 7 levels of energy is about 22 levels. This might be a compilation of some of that.
Yeah.
So we're at the end of the 7 or the 6 personal perspectives.
That's
And
it?
At the end of this one, we have a little bit of wrap up. But on page 97, you've got another aha session. So what are your an aha page? So from this be accountable section, what were some of your ahas?
Mine was misery loves company, be a victim or be accountable.
Misery's gotta stop loving company! Yeah, be a victim or be accountable. You get to choose. Any other ahas in this?
I need a physical accountability partner.
Okay.
I've had one in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped. It worked so well for me that I stopped doing
Yeah,
it.
isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah, and is it any wonder that I'm where I'm at right now?
Ah.
So,
There's a guy across the street that offered to, a trainer, is that what you're talking about?
something.
In that building right across the street, he trains people over there, and he gave me his card one day.
Okay, cool.
Check him out.
Actually, it's that way.
Oh, I think it's on that side.
No, ethos?
Ethos?
No, it's right over
Oh.
there. Like, I park over there, and it's right there. It's a gym. Is there a gym over there
It's on
too?
this, yeah, it's just right there.
Well, this is over here for sure, because I always park right over there. 'Cause
Cool.
I don't know. I have a card.
It can be somebody you pay, it doesn't have to be, whatever it is, just make a commitment.
But would you pay a preacher to be your spiritual? Do people do that?
Yeah. You pay spiritual coaches, I think.
I do
probably.
too. I have a subscription that I pay for to hear John Maxwell
Oh,
every day.
okay.
Rick Warren I listen to almost
So
every day.
something like that, but it wouldn't be.
And then the pastor in my church, who I have his ear whenever I need to about spiritual issues.
You probably don't
And I
pay him.
Although
Maybe
I.
Contribute to the church.
There you go,
Yeah.
there you go.
So maybe.
So you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, it would be different, I think.
The results are key, you guys. So whatever it takes for you to get the results you are committed to getting, pay for it, don't pay for it, just do something. Take some action that's gonna produce that result.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't use Siri.
Maybe we can.
Siri does everything.
Siri, help me be accountable today. Siri, tell me. I just got Alexa.
Oh, my husband has one. Oh, the Alexa thing?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
dial.
oh, we have that too.
I haven't been home since last Monday, so I haven't used it yet. It just came on Monday before I left.
She'll
So
play Christmas
I
music.
can't wait, I
She'll
know.
do- And you can
Before I
ask her
left, I did. I
anything.
said, Alexa, play Christmas. I did. So the Haas are awesome. Insights can happen in an instant. Results will take some time. So it's not like
That's a good one.
the insight is just gonna happen. Insight without action makes no difference. Another way to say that is to know and not to do is not to know.
Sounds like a Yoda.
It is, kind of. It's like an ancient Chinese Confucius kind of guy. I can't remember who said that. So the bottom line is what we've gone through. And for each of these perspectives that we've talked about, commit to self-mastery, commit to the 80-20 principle, go from E to P, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan, get rid of your limiting beliefs and be accountable. Right as we close, there's a blank on the right, on page 99. So here's your opportunity to decide for yourself, what is one thing I'm going to do in each of those areas to achieve the goal I've been working on all day. So under the category of self-mastery, what is one thing I commit to doing? Under the area of the 80-20 principle, what is one thing I commit to doing? So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. If you've gotten one thing on each of those 6, go back and circle the one thing that you commit to taking on first. As you've found that one thing to circle, turn to someone sitting next to you and make it official by declaring it. The universe hears when you declare. It says to brainstorm a game plan. If you have insight for your partner and can maybe give a little idea, go ahead and offer that. So before you guys leave, I have a favor. There's an online evaluation I would really appreciate you doing now or soon. It's just 5 questions. There will be a section that says instructor name, and there's a drop-down box. I don't show up in the drop-down box because I'm not approved yet. So you'll have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the drop-down box and get to the one that says not listed. And then click that, and then it'll ask for my name, and my name is right there. Jody Bach.
And where is this? Oh, okay. No.
KWUeval.com. And in order to become approved and go through that process, I need 75 of these. And you guys will help me with that number. I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And 5 stars.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, you guys did a lot of work today, and like you said, Sue, these are the people who are committed to, you know, you're committed to being crazy. Maybe you should be committed because you came out when it was snowy, but
We're diehards.
you're diehards. So I want to commend you for the work you've done today. Yes.
Real quick, hey guys, when you're going to this site, I just had some issues getting into it. So if you have an issue, if it tells you the page not available or anything, remove the www dot
Oh, interesting.
and just
Okay.
do kwueval.com.
All right.
That seemed to fix it for me, so just be aware.
Very
Thank
good,
you.
Very good, very good.
Thanks, Matt.
Very good. So any final questions, comments? Was it worth your day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. My big fan. Words cannot describe.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I love this. I love doing this. I love doing what I do. I love being with you all.
You can tell.
Yeah. So it's.
Pretty great at it.
Thank you. Thank you. You are very welcome.
Passion exudes.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think when you get into that space of being who you know you are, it's easy. It's flow. There's another book called Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi or something like that. It talks about being in that state when you know things are just clicking on all cylinders. And if you can think about that for yourself, what are you doing when you feel in that flow state? Because when you get there, your clients are going to know it. The person on the other side of the table, you know, the other agent you're working with is going to know it, and that person's going to say, "What the heck are you doing? Because I'm so stressed out." And you're just not. Why? And you can say, "Because I know this is what I'm meant to be doing."